In today's heated public environment, whether one believes we're simply on a long, slow track to wrong, or one believes we are approaching the abyss in the supposedly divided states of America, no matter what any would-be supervisor says, that's agreement, all that's needed. But we must first reflect before that agreement can be used to identify root causes, a solution. We're quick to blame the usual suspects, and while there is truth to this, when has it ever been different? Perhaps we should consider one other possibility: absent and ill-informed citizenship. Now, this is no judgment, not on our national decency, our national intellect, or national anything. It is only to ask this question: can those who are engaged on these matters get correctly informed, stop making the same mistakes time and again, and find the means for the powerful cooperation that awake, effective citizens must be capable of? If we allow things to stand, if we do not intervene wisely, the answer and result will be obvious. And no matter how you slice it, this is the central question. Going back to the debate that was had at the founding as to whether or not to adopt the Constitution and form a central government, both parties did agree on one big thing. In the end, only an informed citizenry, executing eternal vigilance, could keep our darker passions and the inevitable excess of would-be controllers at bay. These are two very interesting concepts. A genuinely informed citizenry would have to be informed first as to its powers as citizens, because to execute eternal vigilance requires them to know how their system works, so they can control the forces that'll otherwise control them. And this is nothing new. These challenges have always produced a multitude of reformers and therapies to help perfect of, by, and for self-government. But we were warned from the beginning about eternal vigilance's opposite number: absentee management. And since we are where we are, despite reforming from the very start, we get clear. Only the people can do this. It can't be left to equivocal professionals and the same failed prescriptions. What is also clear is that as a republic based on electing representatives to serve as our constitutional agents, to execute eternal vigilance and inform citizenry ultimately requires that its judgments be clearly and powerfully expressed at elections. This is the only channel available for us to forcefully and finally apply and regulate. Waking people up won't do it. There are no others. All of our democratic expression and truth-seeking will mean nothing unless it is acted upon, and will be wasted if we don't focus on how to accomplish this. But we don't. In fact, after 227 years, we don't even have a definition of a meaningful, competitive election. Meaning, we don't demand standards, we buy into shrill conventional wisdom, and don't see the big picture about what this mechanism really is and can do. Of course we get terrible results. However, things were much worse 100 years plus ago, as the people essentially held no power and elections were a simple matter of party bosses and machines putting forward their candidates who were sure to do their bidding, and the people, well after the fact, voting one way or the other. But disrupting that model was an informed citizenry, executing eternal vigilance, who, understanding the problem, took that source of power from the machine system and handed it to the people. Now, anyone could run for office, and the people could support anyone they wished. Eternal vigilance was finally within reach, because our constitutional agents should now owe their allegiance not to the bosses and special interests, no, but to the people. Unfortunately, the opportunity went neglected, and the profound potential of this power shift was twisted into a new system, a new boss, less obvious, but an even more effective system of control that has permitted a hidden hand to run our visible system. Because that shift in allegiances did not materialize, our elected officials, just as they were under the old boss, are still subject to control, not by overt replacement, but by the covert use of the modern forces of money, media, and electoral mechanisms that very effectively can organize competition against and make big trouble for any official they deem unruly, unfriendly to their agenda. Though we're familiar with the trappings, these realities operate well below our ability to detect them because we are absent and incoherent. So naturally, we can offer no protection. Hence, genuine public service becomes very difficult to deliver, and so quickly becomes something else. The good news, though, is that this is easy to fix fast. Number one, we know we have the authority. After all, if the central power in our system was taken from them and handed to us, we can't say we're powerless. Since we know all the problems spring from our being absent and incoherent, we know we must become present and coherent. And that clear presence can easily be established simply by building around that authority a specially purposed public civic network. No longer will we be a faceless blob subject to political manipulation. No, designed simply upon registration to capture our existing organization and mold that into visibility, deliberation, and media. We get capable of solving our problems simply by leveraging our system's decisive powers that already exist and that we own, getting anyone we choose to support on the ballot, and then nominating them, and then electing them, and then protecting them, any elected official in the United States. And that means a lot of public servants who now exercise great authority over us, who now will have to provide genuine service to the public or lose. And with that control ours, the people's ties to those our elected officials must regulate, the government beyond, will strengthen, and they too will have to show up and listen. And we will be worth listening to, because the knowledge we bring, gather, and share in this network will make us worthy regulators and contributors. With our leadership leading, our unbalanced, broken public sphere will surely get balanced and unbroken. And we, and those who we elect, along with the unelected who we will help regulate, will all work together to find the answers that steer us clear of the abyss and get us on track, and ensures America and the world can really be great.